Hey everyone, I know I haven't made a video in a while, sorry about that, except for that video I uploaded like yesterday or the day before or something like that, but that was like a video I recorded a while ago. I needed to get a new transfer cable for my camera for my computer because my camera doesn't have an SD card in it. Anyways, this is another edition of PITZWIL Rants. This rant is one that I've wanted to do for a while now. And it's a topic that's been on my mind for years, and not really years, but a couple years now. And it's, what exactly classifies anime as good? Alright? Because I think we've kind of lost touch with what makes anime good in general. And first off, I'd like to say I know this in general is completely opinionated. I might not like something you like and vice versa. But I do think there's a special criteria here that you have to go by when deciding if an anime is good or bad. Now, for those of you who watch my anime reviews on my other channel, Jack Cooper the Plumber, then you'd know that I kind of do my reviews in different sections, meaning before I give my final thoughts and my final rating and whatnot, I review different sections of it, like the plot, the animation art style, the music and soundtrack, the voice acting, etc. You know, the characters, the plot, stuff like that. And really, this stuff I'm going to go over in here because I would like to announce though that I have been starting to get into older anime. Like, I recently finished watching the Dirty Pair series, including the movie Project Eden. Fucking awesome, okay? The art style isn't as incredible as it is now, of course. These were like the 80s or 90s or something. I don't even know right now. I'd have to look it up. But fucking incredible. And there's actually a funny story behind that because, you know, like, when I was watching anime as a kid, but before I even knew it was anime, I bought Project Eden at the local video store, and years later, after watching Bionic Slimes and Lava Buster's review for Dirty Pair, I remembered that I did that. Yeah, I know, right? Anyways, Dirty Pair, fucking awesome. I hope to get into some more, maybe watch some of the earlier Gundam series. I heard that the newer ones aren't that great, but I will try to get into some of the earlier Gundam series, though, eventually. Anyways, back into the topic of this rant. Basically, I just want to go over exactly, to me, what criteria there has to be in order to make a good anime. Now, first one, of course, is the animation and art style. Now, I mean, technically speaking, when it comes to animation, you're supposed to have good animation. A lot of Japanese companies end up faulting on this. Not all of them though. Studio Ghibli is one that's really renowned with having fluid animation, basically because they're extremely similar to America's Disney, except they're Disney that's good, essentially. That's how I see Studio Ghibli. Bones is usually pretty good with their animation as well, and Madhouse was in their early days. I don't know, I haven't seen much of their recent stuff, but I heard that they weren't that good. I heard they weren't that great now, and Production IG, I believe, used to be pretty good with it as well. I haven't seen much of their recent stuff myself. And of course, I can't speak for all Japanese animation companies. I haven't seen a series from every single Japanese animation company out there, okay? So I can't speak for every single one of them. I can only speak for the ones that I've seen things of. Kyoto Animation's pretty good too, or at least they were in Haruhi. I'm not a big fan of Haruhi, but the animation in The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya was really good, actually. Yeah, so of course animation. Now, of course, because I'm an otaku, I can get past that as long as there's lots of other good things in it. Okay, for me that's not a requirement. It'd be nice if they had full animation, but it's not a requirement for me. Okay. There's also the art style. Now, the art style isn't a huge thing with me, but I at least want to be able to look at it, okay, without wondering what the fuck I'm looking at. There's a lot of really beautiful art styles now. in anime. Like, Death Note and Code Geass are two of my favorites. Okay, really, I mean, those art styles are amazing. In terms of the colors, anyway, the vibrant, very beautiful colors. Their drawing style's a little bit weird. Well, I mean, in terms of Clamp. Actually, I'm not sure if Clamp actually did Death Note, but I know that Clamp did Code Geass, or at least helped with it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, animation art styles too. They don't need to be perfect for me, but I at least like them to be pretty good. The big stereotype is that the probably one of the biggest stereotypes in anime is that animation is never good in anime. Alright, and this stereotype mostly goes to shonen series, because I cannot tell you how many fucking times I've heard people say that in every shonen series animation is terrible. Bullshit! Fuck you! That is not true, okay? Bleach, which is one of my favorite anime, has pretty good animation when it comes to regular scenes, usually. The fight scenes, because they're done by... Because the fight scenes in the anime are done panel by panel, the animation isn't usually that great. But when it comes to regular scenes, the animation is sometimes pretty good, so fuck you, okay, honestly. So, yeah, animation and art style. Next is the music. Now, this may seem kind of trivial, but this is a huge one for me, because if you change the music of a series, you change the mood. No matter what the mood is supposed to be, that's not what it turns out if you don't have the right music. Case in point, the 4Kids dub of One Piece. They changed every single fucking soundtrack in the part that they dubbed, turning it into absolute garbage. Thankfully, 4Kids rescued it, and I believe that they actually redistributed it too, if I'm not mistaken. I think they actually dubbed over the parts that 4Kids already dubbed, like a redubbing or something, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, yeah, but for me, music... Sorry about that. For me, music is a huge thing, okay? I mean, because, like I just said, if you change the music, you change the mood. And, you know, when there's a action scene, you gotta have some upbeat music. When there's a sad, tragic, or somewhat some form of sentimental scene, you have to have the music that's appropriate for it. If there's a comedy scene, you have to have the music that's appropriate for it in order to get the wanted reaction from the audience. So music is a huge thing with me. And, you know, as for openings and endings, I don't require them. It's good to... I guess they're good so that you'll know what the series is about. You know, you kind of know what to expect. Not exactly what's about, obviously, but you'll kind of know what to expect. You know, if it's an action anime, you're obviously going to have a lot of fight scenes in the opening with some really upbeat music. If it's a tragedy anime, you're probably going to have people dying and blood everywhere and a really sad music, you know. That's just kind of the way it works. So I don't require them, but they are kind of nice, and I do like to have something good to listen to. Another thing I judge in my anime reviews is the voice acting. Now, I'm not going to say that the voices are everything in anime, because they're not. Now, I'm a huge proponent of anime dubs myself, especially a lot of the modern ones like Death Note, Code Geass. As much as I don't like Cowboy Bebop that much, Cowboy Bebop has a fucking incredible dub. Ghost in the Shell, which is an incredible anime, has an incredible dub. And yeah, if the dub cat, even see with me, even if I don't really care for the anime, I'll usually sit through it if the dub cast is pretty good, okay? Because if the dub is so ungodly terrible, then it just destroys the mood for me. But I rarely run into that, thankfully, especially in a lot of modern dubs. A lot of modern dubs are really good. Usually the ones that get fucked up the most are the ones of Moe and Harem series. Not always, though. The key series dubs such as Canon 2006, Air TV, and Clannad are really good, actually, in my opinion. So, yeah. So, voice acting, I do judge. It's not the biggest thing, but I'd at least like to not get my ears bled out. And I have switched to the subtitle before. Not very often, but it has happened. Next thing is the plot. Now, I'm not saying that anime have this overarching plot line that gets you gripped with every single episode. A lot of anime don't have that are really good. For example, Azumangadaya. It's a slice of life. It has no overarching storyline. It's everyday situations of Japanese high school kids. That's usually what slice of life is, and Azumangadaya is great, you know. Although the end surprised me quite a bit when I was watching it at first, but you know, it doesn't have an overarching storyline. But if they're gonna try to make one for an anime, I want it to be believable. For example, Death Note. Incredibly unique plot about a guy who finds a notebook falling from the sky. It says Death Note on it. He can kill anyone he wants to with the notebook. So it's all about really the psychological aspects of the main character. Code Geass has an incredibly original storyline about this kid Lelouch v. Britannia, or Lelouch Lamperouge, who gets a power for his eye known as Geass, and he can make anyone do their bidding, albeit he can only control a person once. His favorite thing to do is making them kill themselves. Incredibly unique, and with this he takes on the persona of Zero and starts a rebellion, and in the end, unlike Light Yagami, Lelouch succeeds. He might die, but he still succeeds. Incredibly unique fucking plot. You know, and I could go on and on and on. Really, and a lot of people, whenever I say that shonen anime such as Bleach has original plots, they laugh at me and say, no, they don't. They're just, for example, Bleach is just your average shonen series. And at the end of the day, I guess you could definitely say that. But the thing I like about Bleach is that, see, I don't mind shonen being redone as long as it's redone right. Meaning, they think of a creative way for the characters to fight, essentially. And Bleach does that. You know, really. You know, with the Zanbakutos, the Soul Reapers, and did I just say Zanbakutos? the Zanpakutos, the Soul Reapers, and everything. It's a unique way for them to fight. It's not a unique plot, no. It's a unique way for them to fight, and that's what gets me interested in it, okay? And of course, when I talk about the plot, I have to talk about the characters. Every anime has to have a likable cast of characters. Characters that, oh, maybe you can relate to them, maybe you can't, but you have to like them. And a great anime can have characters that, even if you despise them, you still love them, okay? Case in point, Death Note. For the first part of Death Note, I was a huge fan of Light Yagami. For the second part, not so much. I grew to despise him eventually. But even when I despised him, I still loved him because of how fucking intelligent he was. Throughout the whole series, I hated L, but I still loved him because of how fucking intelligent he was, okay? That's great writing right there. Really, it is. Okay, the characters are the icing on the cake for any story, and if you fuck them up, you fuck the plot up. Okay, that's just how it goes. If you can't get the characters right, then you can't get the plot right. Period. Okay, so anything else I need to talk about here about what makes a good anime? I guess really the only last thing I need to talk about is that it needs to be interesting, you know, and I see so many anime getting fucking shit canned that deserve more attention. You know, for example, what the fuck it's called? Puella Magi Magica or something like that. It's incredible, but I seem to find it's going under the radar quite a bit. I think it's a really good series that everyone who's an otaku should go out and watch. At least once. I'm probably inclined to go watch it again, okay? In fact, I'll have to when I actually get around to doing my review of it, but whatever. Yeah, I guess it's really all I have to talk here about, in my opinion, what actually makes anime good or bad, okay? Because I do think there's some criteria that needs to be followed when deciding if an anime is good or bad. So, yeah, I guess that's it for this rant. Remember to rate, subscribe, do all the good stuff. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.